Sometimes life breaks the quiet ones the hardest. A single cruel laugh, a careless shove, and dignity drowns in front of everyone. But that night at the Haven Bay Hotel, when the janitor hit the water and the crowd erupted in laughter, nobody knew. The man who would change everything was watching. The rhythmic squeak of a mop echoed through the golden-lit pool deck of Haven Bay Hotel. Ethan Miller, 39, moved carefully across the marble floor, his faded sneakers leaving tiny marks of tiredness. His uniform hung loose, worn by years of labor and endless shifts. To the wealthy guests of this coastal paradise, Ethan was invisible, a shadow in motion existing only when something spilled or broke. But inside, he carried storms of silence. 3 years ago, his wife Julia had lost her battle with leukemia. Since then, Ethan had become both father and mother to his daughter, Lily, an 11-year-old with honey-brown hair and a heart too gentle for this world. He worked nights so he could walk her to school every morning. He skipped meals to keep her lunches full. Every dollar mattered. Every moment counted. That evening, as laughter echoed from a rooftop party, Ethan bent to wring the mop, unaware that before the night ended, his pain would be exposed to the world. And somewhere unseen, justice was quietly watching. The rooftop shimmered with gold and champagne. Music pulsed through the humid California night as the Pacific reflected a dying sun. It was Madison Hill's 25th birthday, daughter of billionaire developer Charles Hill. Guests clinked glasses, posed for photos, and laughed like nothing in the world could touch them. To them, the pool deck was a stage. To Ethan, it was a workplace he treated like a temple. He moved quietly between tables, picking up napkins, wiping water rings from glass tops. "Hey, janitor." Madison's sharp voice sliced through the music. "Don't come too close. You're ruining the vibe." Laughter followed. Ethan nodded, murmured, "Sorry, ma'am," and stepped back. A few meters away sat a man in a black suit leaning against the glass railing. Noah Walker, 47. No one noticed him. The founder of a tech empire, Noah had attended the party out of obligation. His face was calm, almost detached, but his eyes, steady and analytical, caught everything, and when they rested on Ethan, something inside him stirred. A memory he thought he'd buried years ago, of his own father mopping diner floors late at night. Earlier that morning, Lily had waved to her dad at the school gate. "Don't forget, Daddy. Field trip on Friday." Ethan had smiled, hiding the ache behind his eyes. Wouldn't miss it for the world. But the truth was cruel. He didn't even have the $60 for her ticket yet. Every night he promised himself he'd find a way. Every dawn that promise grew heavier. Now as he scrubbed away smudges that didn't exist, his hands trembled, not from exhaustion, but from fear of failing her. Madison's laughter rose again. "Relax, everyone," she said, raising her glass. "We've got the best janitor in town. He even smiles when we insult him." Her friends roared. Ethan's cheeks burned, but he stayed silent. He'd learned that dignity sometimes meant swallowing your pride, not spitting it out. From the corner, Noah's jaw tightened. He remembered being that boy once, watching his father get mocked by men who thought money equaled worth. He didn't come here tonight to be a hero. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The pool's turquoise water shimmered under string lights, reflecting stars that hadn't even risen yet. Ethan pushed his cart closer to the bar, quietly collecting half-empty glasses. He prayed the night would end soon. Madison, tipsy from wine and attention, whispered something to her boyfriend, Chase. They both looked at Ethan and grinned. "Hey, janitor," she called again. "Come wipe this spot." Ethan turned. "Yes, ma'am." He stepped toward her, unaware that the marble beside the pool was slick with spilled drink. Chase moved behind him with a grin, pretending to help, but the intent was cruel. Noah noticed it instantly. He set his drink down, eyes narrowing, muscles tensing, but before he could move, it happened. A shove, a splash. The sound of laughter tearing through the night. The janitor hit the water, the mop floating beside him. For a moment, silence followed. Then came more laughter, cruel, echoing, endless. Ethan surfaced, gasping, soaked, humiliated. His hands shook as he pulled himself to the edge, his eyes wide with disbelief. From his corner, Noah Walker rose to his feet, slow, deliberate, dangerous. Water dripped from Ethan's sleeves as he stood, trembling. The crowd watched like it was part of the entertainment. Madison smirked. Don't be mad, janitor. It's just water. You clean it all day anyway, right? The laughter returned, sharper this time. But then a calm, steady voice broke through. That's enough. Heads turned. Noah Walker stepped forward, his presence quiet but commanding. He wasn't dressed like a celebrity, just a man who didn't need to prove his worth. Who the hell are you? Madison frowned. Noah looked at her for a long, cold moment. Someone who learned that wealth means nothing if it costs you your humanity. He turned to Ethan, extending a hand. Are you all right, sir? Sir? The word silenced everyone. Ethan hesitated, then took the hand. Noah helped him up, pulling his wet jacket straight. Go get changed, Noah said softly. You don't deserve this. The crowd stared, confused. Madison rolled her eyes, muttering, Somebody's trying too hard to play hero. But Noah wasn't done. His eyes stayed locked on her and his voice turned to steel. I don't play hero, he said. I remember my father. Ethan's wet fingers trembled in Noah's firm grip. For years no one had looked him in the eye like that. With respect, something broke quietly inside him. Not from pain, but from the shock of being seen. Noah took off his blazer and draped it over Ethan's shoulders. You don't have to say anything, he said softly. Just breathe. Madison rolled her eyes. Seriously? Are we turning a janitor's pity party into a charity event now? Her laughter came out shrill, trying to hide the flicker of guilt beneath it. Noah turned his gaze to her. When was the last time you built something with your own hands, Madison? When was the last time you worked for something that didn't have your father's name on it? A silence spread like a wave through the crowd. The music faded. Madison's lips parted, but no sound came. Noah exhaled slowly. I grew up with a father who mopped floors too. You're not laughing at him, he said, voice tightening. You're laughing at every man who gave up his dreams just to keep his child alive. And suddenly, the laughter stopped. That night when the guests began to whisper, Noah's mind slipped years back, to a gas station on the edge of Bakersfield. He was 10, standing behind his father, Raymond Walker, who cleaned restrooms for a living. Dad, why do you work so hard? Noah had asked. His father had smiled, sweat dripping from his brow. Because someday you'll work with your mind instead of your hands. And I'll be proud watching you do it. But one night a group of rich teens mocked him as calling him the bathroom man. They filmed it. His father had said nothing. Just kept scrubbing, eyes full of quiet fire. 2 months later he collapsed from exhaustion. He never saw Noah become the man he promised he'd be. Back in the present, Noah blinked hard, breaking from the memory. He looked at Ethan, soaked, trembling yet standing tall, and saw his father again. He turned to the crowd. You think dignity can be washed off like dirt? He asked quietly. No one answered. Madison stared at him for the first time, unsure of herself, and Ethan, he simply stood there trying not to cry. Security staff arrived, unsure whether to intervene. Madison crossed her arms, forcing a smirk. You don't get it, do you? He's just an employee. He cleans, we pay. That's how it works. Noah's eyes darkened. No, he's a man who earns his life with honest work. You're a guest at someone else's effort. A hush spread across the deck. Some of Madison's friends looked away, uncomfortable now. The champagne didn't taste as sweet. Ethan tried to speak. It's all right, sir. Please don't cause trouble because of me. But Noah turned to him gently. You call it trouble. I call it decency. Then Noah faced the crowd again. If you really believe money makes you better, you've already lost what can't be bought. Grace. The DJ quietly turned the music off. The party was collapsing into silence, and then Noah said something that made everyone freeze. "How much do you make an hour, Ethan?" Ethan hesitated. $13.50, sir." Noah nodded. "Good. As of tomorrow, you'll be earning 100,000 a year, because you're going to work for me." Gasps rippled through the air like thunder. Ethan's eyes widened. "Sir, I don't understand." Noah smiled softly. "You will. My company builds sustainable homes for low-income families. I need a man who knows what real work feels like." The crowd erupted in murmurs. Madison looked stunned. "You can't be serious," she snapped. He's just a janitor." Noah's calm never wavered. "And you're just someone who forgot how to be kind." For a moment, the only sound was the soft ripple of water. Then Noah added, "The difference between you and him, Madison, is that he knows what struggle means. You only know luxury." Ethan's throat tightened. "Why would you do this for me?" Noah stepped closer. "Because once someone humiliated my father the same way, and I wasn't brave enough to stop it. Tonight I finally am." A single tear rolled down Ethan's cheek, blending with the pool water still clinging to his face. In the silence that followed, one of Madison's friends whispered, "Maybe we're the ones who need cleaning." The laughter from earlier now sounded like ghosts, faint, ashamed, and gone with the wind. After the party dissolved, the lights of Haven Bay dimmed. Ethan stood near the pool, now wrapped in Noah's blazer, staring at his reflection. For the first time in years, he didn't see a failure. He saw a survivor. Noah joined him quietly. "You have someone waiting at home?" "My daughter Lily," Ethan said. "She thinks her dad can fix anything." Noah smiled. "She's right." Ethan's voice trembled. "I don't know how to thank you." "Don't," Noah said. "Just keep being the kind of man she already thinks you are." A long silence followed, filled only by the ocean below. Finally, Noah reached into his pocket and handed Ethan a card. "Come by Monday morning. Let's build something that changes lives. Yours first." As Ethan took it, the card trembled in his wet hands. The billionaire looked up at the sky and whispered, "You'd be proud, Dad." Far below, the waves crashed softly, like applause, and somewhere deep in that sound, there was peace. Sunlight spilled through the blinds of a small apartment on the east side of town. Lily sat at the kitchen table, drawing a picture, her dad in a blue uniform, holding a mop that sparkled like a sword. The front door opened quietly. Ethan stepped in, hair still damp from his late-night walk home. "Daddy!" she cried, running to him. He knelt and hugged her tight, inhaling the scent of crayons and hope. "How was work?" she asked. Ethan smiled, his eyes glistening. "Different. Maybe better than ever." He handed her a small gift bag. Inside was a cheap plastic bracelet he'd bought from a roadside vendor, but it sparkled in her hand like treasure. "Do you like it?" "It's beautiful," she said, hugging him. He didn't tell her what had happened yet. Not about the laughter or the shove, or the billionaire's hand that pulled him back up. Some things could wait. For now, he just wanted to breathe and believe outside. The city was waking up, unaware that somewhere, one small family's fate had quietly changed forever. 3 days later, Ethan stood in front of a towering glass building downtown, Walker Innovations. The reflection of the city danced across its windows like a living painting. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. At the front desk, a receptionist looked up. "Mr. Ethan Miller?" He nodded nervously. "Mr. Walker is expecting you." Moments later, the elevator doors opened to reveal Noah. No suit this time, just a plain shirt and kind eyes. "You came," he said warmly. "I almost didn't," Ethan admitted. "Didn't think I belonged here." Noah smiled. "That's exactly why you do." He led Ethan to a workshop floor. Engineers, designers, and builders working side by side. "We're creating modular homes for families like yours," Noah explained. "Affordable, safe, and beautiful. Ethan's eyes widened as he looked around. "And I want you to lead the maintenance and site coordination team," Noah added. "You've built bridges before. It's time you build lives." Ethan's throat tightened. "I don't know what to say." Noah rested a hand on his shoulder. "Just say yes," Ethan nodded. Then yes, months passed. Ethan's life began to unfold in color again. He'd traded the mop for blueprints, the cleaning cart for safety gear. Each day he left early and came home to Lily's drawings of houses and hearts taped to the fridge. At work he was respected, not for pity, but for skill. His co-workers called him Mr. Miller, not the janitor. Sometimes when Noah visited the construction site, they would share coffee and quiet talks about fatherhood and loss. Ethan once said softly, "You didn't just give me a job, sir. You gave me back my dignity." Noah replied, "No one can give you that, Ethan. You never lost it." Meanwhile, Madison Hill's story spread online. A leaked video of her cruelty had gone viral. The internet turned fast, and for the first time she faced the kind of shame she used to cause. But Ethan never spoke ill of her. "Some people break others because they're broken themselves," he told Lily one night. "If we ever get the chance, we forgive, not because they deserve it, but because we deserve peace." Friday morning arrived, bright, golden, and full of laughter. Lily stood by the school bus, waving her permission slip. "You really came through, Daddy," she beamed. Ethan smiled, handing her a small packed lunch. "Wouldn't miss it for the world." She hugged him tightly before boarding, her backpack bouncing with every step. He watched the bus roll away, tears slipping down his cheeks, not from sadness this time, but gratitude. Behind him, a black car pulled up. Noah stepped out, hands in his pockets. "Field trip day?" Ethan nodded, smiling. "She's been counting down all week." Noah glanced at the road where the bus had disappeared. "You know, my dad never got to see me off to school. I used to tell myself it didn't matter, but maybe it did." Ethan looked at him thoughtfully. "Then you're changing that now, or for someone else's child." Noah smiled faintly. "Maybe we both are." For a moment they stood in silence, the kind that feels sacred. Two men, two fathers bound by loss and healing, watching a brighter future drive away. A year later, the new housing project opened. A quiet community of small, sunlit homes. On the front lawn stood a bronze plaque. For every parent who worked in silence so their child could dream louder. Ethan stood beside Noah at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Lily holding his hand. Cameras flashed, but he barely noticed. His eyes were fixed on the families moving into their homes. Laughter, hugs, tears, all blending under the California sun. After the ceremony, Ethan whispered, "Funny, isn't it? All this started because someone pushed me into a pool." Noah smiled. "Sometimes people push you down just so you'll rise higher than they ever could." The crowd applauded as the ribbon fell. Lily squeezed her dad's hand and said, "Daddy, can we build a home for Madison too?" Ethan knelt, smiling through tears. "One day, sweetheart, because kindness builds more than walls." The wind picked up, carrying the scent of salt and sunlight. Ethan looked toward the ocean, where pain once drowned him, and saw only light. Sometimes, it takes a single cruel act to reveal true kindness. Ethan's story reminds us, you never know who's watching when you choose compassion over cruelty. If this story touched your heart, subscribe, like, and press the bell icon for more real stories of hope, humanity, and redemption.